Welcome to the bold analysis. Much has been spoken about Sabina Chege faction that is trying to snatch Jubilee Party from the rightful owners who, according to me, even a child who was born in 2013 knows that the owners of Jubilee Party, the owner of Jubilee Party is Uhuru Kenyatta. But because someone wants to just provoke and shame Uhuru Kenyatta, he has decided to play games with that party. But there is something we have not talking about in this. Why is it that Sabina Chege and Kanini Kega are always getting their way easily through one office, ORPP? Office of Registrar of Political Parties. The Office of Registrar of Political Parties, the holder of that office is none other than Nderitu. And Nderitu, I understand, was even in the brink of losing that position. And even Uhuru Kenyatta extended her term, if I'm not wrong. You can find out. Now, this is an office that is supposed to be custodian of political party integrity, and it has performed poorly in it. My opinion here is that instead of political parties struggling through parliament to eject, or rather to punish, rogue members of parliament that migrate from one political party to the other through some weak laws or some weak regulations or acts of parliament, the office that should be punishing members of parliament that cross should actually the ORPP. In fact, my ideology would be, and I think Azimio should get this if they can, in that bipartisan talks, take back the ORPP, take back the role of party discipline to ORPP and make it clear. In fact, you create a supreme, you create a ceiling on it that if an MP crosses from one party to the other, then just from ORPP, they will clearly strike off your name from the register, and from there you lose your party membership, or rather your position as an MP, and you cannot challenge it in even Supreme Court or any court. We give it a ceiling at that moment. But the way we have staggered the process, that if you come from RPP, the political parties tribunal, then High Court, then Supreme Court, then through all that process, someone gets his way by staggering the process, by getting court injunctions here and there. There is one thing that is happening, and that is why I tell you, one office, that of Nderitu, coincidentally, the holder is also a Kikuyu. And the two people that are benefiting from it are also Kikuyus. Are you reading what I'm reading? Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Or am I overthinking? Rajua, sometimes when you are at home, it's fresh energy, so you realize that you'll do different analysis. You always want to think outside the box, unlike when you're in studio where you are looking at things on straight line. So, it's about time we interrogate what exactly is their mission there. Because it's true, the person that can call NDC is party leader, and the person that called that NDC was Uhuru Kenyatta. It's true, the person that can convene NEC is the party leader, and the person that convened the NEC was Uhuru Kenyatta. There is no way. It says, the constitution says that maybe the president can leave active politics to get retirement benefits, but that did not also limit her rights to association, and that do not need the interpretation of ORPP. You know, Sabina Chege and Kanini Kega are generating letters every day and night from the office of ORPP. They are clinging on a document that was sent. Look at how fast. The first Nakuru meeting was held on Friday and later sent to RPP like on that weekend. Then on Monday there was a rebuttal, there was a response, and the way things happened very fast. Will we be wrong when we make a political observation that that office is part and parcel of a wider scheme to scuttle or rather to snatch Jubilee Party from Uhuru Kenyatta? Will we be wrong? That brings me to this. Why do you think the plan to snatch Jubilee Party from Uhuru Kenyatta is actually midwifed, and the system, the strategy is domiciled around Kikuyu leaders? Kanini Kega is a Kikuyu. Sabina Chege is a Kikuyu. The Anderito is a Kikuyu. You know, what is the intelligence around it? Tell me, what is your guess on this? What is the intelligence behind that? Why Sabina Chege and Kanini Kega? Because even if you wanted to do it in a clean bill, if you want the Jubilee Party and your clear intention is to revamp it and make it look national, then after snatching, even in the bid of snatching it and giving, who is this? Kanini Koru, SSG, why should you give Sabina Chege also a Kikuyu acting party leader? Why don't you go, why don't the Northeastern guy take the party leader position? Why do you think another person outside Mount Kenya? They have an MP from Lamu. Why don't the Lamu East MP take up the position of the party leader? Why is it just in the mountain? I want to explain that in this podcast. There is a very clear line to confront Uhuru Kenyatta. And the tragedy is that those being used, the reason why Ruto and Rigathi decided to put Kikuyu community in the front line is really worrying. The intelligence around it. For Anderito, before I look at Sabina Chege and Sabina Chege and Kanini Kega, for the Anderito, I want to believe that maybe she knows that in the next few years, maybe her time in that office is coming to an end. And to survive politically is to dance to the political tune of the current administration. And that is the tragedy of our public service. You know, I've always been saying, the tragedy of our public service is that nothing can be done on meritocracy. One of the factors on table when we even make transitions in public service is political correctness, the political alienation. One of the things we are making is she's making a conscious decision to kufurahisha these two gentlemen, because when the term expires, she can be considered somehow and be told, you take this and leave that. Now, Sabina Chege and Kanini Kega were put in the front line to fight Uhuru Kenyatta because of these four reasons. Number one, William Ruto is testing, this is from an intelligence perspective, is testing the popularity and the grip of Uhuru Kenyatta in Mount Kenya. You know, and that's why it's been concentrated between the two. You know, if one person that will be, if the people in the front line, I know that we've somehow said that they're the ones fighting. Initially, that's what we've been thinking, that the ones fighting because they want to protect their positions, because they are two beneficiaries, the two leaders that directly benefit from the Jubilee Party. But that notwithstanding, the position of party leader could still be dangled amongst others. Kanini Kega was director of elections. Previously, before unceremoniously or somewhere in the bush, being named as an acting SG. So they've put it, number two, they want, and this is it, they want Uhuru Kenyatta ouster as party leader to be received largely by Mount Kenya in the contest. And if that is the intention, I want to invite you that pause after watching this podcast, just go to Kanini Kega's Twitter page and sample his tweets. Go to replies. I believe he doesn't delete. And even if he's, and I believe he doesn't delete, number one. And number two, I believe that even there are those who support UDA that are following him. Sample. You will find 99% of people in the replies telling him that you are being used. I wonder whether he's reading those comments. And the guys, the intelligence guys of William Ruto's advisors who are picking that survey or who are picking that data must be worried where they are. Because what was to test is, if we take Kanini Kega and Sabina Chega, these are people that were supporting Uhuru Kenyatta, and then we put them in the front line to fight Uhuru Kenyatta, what will the people feel? It was the test of knowing the grip of it. And probably, on reference, they thought that because they successfully ran with the narrative that Uhuru was a bad man, Uhuru was, Sabina Chege and Kanini Kega were going to get their way with it. But that is not the situation. So that was testing the popularity of it. Then the second bit is Rigathi realized that the UDA team that were employed or were planted to spearhead anti-Uhuru venom, their messaging had reached a plague. And, okay, people had taken them normal. Okay, it's fine. What they're doing, they've been doing it. There's no problem. It's fine with it. So, Kanini Kega and Sabina Chege were actually brought just to bolster that team. It's just a reinforcement and create a new face of it. If the rest have been saying Uhuru was a bad man, then now even the same people that work with him closely, political affiliates who are even a bit popular, are now saying he's a bad man. Then it's just one way of perpetuating the narrative that Uhuru was a bad man. I don't know what you think about it, but that clearly comes out from these engagements. And that is one of the reasons why this has been done. The other is Kanini Kega and Sabina Chege supported Uhuru Kenyatta to the last minute. They supported BBI. They supported Uhuru Kenyatta's project. For them, to the UDA administration, they're being used critically to lead the discrediting Uhuru administration. Discrediting, in fact, it's not discrediting the personality of Uhuru Kenyatta. And I want to say here, the Jubilee Party issue is not about the party. It's not about the party. It's about Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Critically, if you listen to what Kanini Kega and Sabina Chege are saying, they're saying that there were positions that they were supposed to get in the National Assembly under the Azimio la Umoja arrangement, but they lacked those positions because Uhuru Kenyatta was lame ducked and failed to defend them. So they want to pull out of Azimio agreement because they missed those positions. And truth be told, even me, initially I didn't support ODM on that move. But what I could not see when I was seated in my office, in my studio, I think Raila saw while seated in Karen. And he knew very well that these were a bunch of traitors. Or maybe they even tracked their engagements with UDA, and they knew that a number of the Jubilee MPs were on the verge of making their way to join UDA. And that's why they were denied those positions. So it has been discussed, different definitions in it. But that is also one factor you cannot underestimate, that they knew, or rather realized, that these leaders were actually making a political shift from the other side to join UDA. Now, lastly, this could also been a trap that was set because Uhuru Kenyatta decided to stay back and not to politic, or even not to stay in politics. Sabina Chege and Kanini Kega, I feel, could also have been unleashed, and the proxy party ouster was a trap set to just to make sure that Uhuru Kenyatta holds that party. And if that is the trap, I don't know whether I can say that Uhuru has fallen for that trap. You know, they would actually want this Uhuru Kenyatta to remain there. So that if the more Uhuru Kenyatta remains as the Jubilee Party leader, the more they will find fodder to link him to Azimio activities, to link Jubilee directly to what Raila Odinga will be doing, and again, use him as a punching bag and a blame, a blame toy when things are tough. When things fail and things cannot go on as a planned, the easiest route you make is look for where the son of Jomo is and blame him. That's my thought. But I will also want to hear your ideas. Why Sabina Chege and Kanini Kega are in the front line? Simple. Tell me, what do you think about it? That's my take.